Okay, bye.
Well, if he doesn't come out right away, bang on the trap from the back.
Because then, yeah, sometimes you think they're ready and they just stand there and look.
All right, who's the scariest, ugliest one? Yep, looking right at you, buddy.
There you are. There you are. I knew this was coming. So what am I doing?
No, just be in the back in case he decides not to come out.
I can do that.
Okay, we ready? This is usually
Yep.
pretty quick, but you never know. Okay?
Yep.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
All right, he's ready. Long gone. Woo! Woo!
I was fortunate enough to witness the release of 3 unrelated yearling Florida black bear cubs to Goethe State Forest back in December of 2016. This forest is considered to be part of the Big Bend region of Florida, the area with the smallest subpopulation of bears at approximately 30. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, or FWC, is attempting to restock this area with bears. In February of 2017, they released 3 sibling yearlings after having killed their mother for defending her cubs in another part of the state. About a week later, a yearling was seen up a tree in someone's yard about 5 miles east of the northern tip of the forest, and some locals were threatening to kill the bear if the FWC didn't come out to relocate it, which they refused to do. The next morning, we went out to investigate and tried to educate. By the time we got there, the bear had disappeared into the night, so my friend Carl and I spent the rest of the day in Goethe State Forest. What you see here is the result of roller chopping of saw palmetto plants. This footage was taken in the southern part of the forest. Florida black bears rely on saw palmetto as an important food source as well as cover. They need palmetto stands that are at least 5 years of age. Roller chopping is done in preparation for burning. Frequent fire intervals are an important part of the longleaf pine wiregrass ecosystem. Within state and national forests in Florida, restoration projects to longleaf pine wiregrass have been in process since 2010. Back when fire suppression was popular, the Florida black bear thrived. They depend on dense understory for denning, cover, and food. Along with mature saw palmetto stands, acorn-producing oak trees are destroyed in the process of longleaf pine restoration. In addition, saw palmetto berries are picked by the truckload to be sold for supplements. The bears are losing their habitat and food sources quickly. In October of 2015, Florida had a bear hunt after a 21-year hiatus. The Florida black bear had been on the state's threatened list until 2012, which is when the Bear Management Plan was published. The FWC claims that Florida has a robust and growing bear population. Over the past few years, there have been increased sightings and vehicular collisions, as well as bears getting into trash, leading to human-bear conflict. Carl was the first person to figure out what was going on by spending hours within various forests every week. The bears are being pushed out of the forests and into neighborhoods, onto roads. Their food sources and habitat are being taken away and replaced with longleaf pine wiregrass ecosystem. Ever since becoming involved with the Florida black bear in 2015, I decided to learn everything I could about the bears and their habitat. For me, the study of wildlife management means empowering myself with the knowledge needed to understand what is happening within state wildlife agencies and between them and other relevant agencies, such as the U.S. Forest Service and Florida Forest Service. I was determined to at least learn some of what FWC staff biologists had been taught and try to understand their techniques and protocols. I joined the local FWC bear stakeholder group, which is why I was able to be there for the release of the 3 cubs in December. As we made our way north, we found a still smoldering prescribed burn area, which was by our estimates about 1.6 square kilometers. Not far from the site of the fire was a large area that had been bulldozed, probably in preparation for the planting of longleaf pine. Of the 216 square kilometers of forest, about 90% is or will become longleaf pine wiregrass ecosystem. Winter burning is often done for one of two reasons: because they are supposedly easier to control and because winter burning inflicts less damage on timber. However, winter burning is very bad for Florida's carnivores such as the Florida panther and the black bear, both of which have their young during the winter months. In fact, one such bear released in Gothi in December, affectionately named Smokey Jr., had been the victim of a fire. His mother probably had 2 cubs, but she could only carry one to safety as she outran the fire, leaving behind her other cub, who was crying for help when he was rescued by a teenage girl. This kind of thing happens more often than we know. So I may not be the quintessential wildlife management student. In fact, I may be the antithesis. However, I do have a passion, and that is the Florida black bear, an iconic, charismatic, intelligent species, an umbrella species whose umbrella has turned inside out. It is up to us to save them.